Um, all right, so yeah, welcome back to this video. Today we are going to be flying McDonnell Douglas MD-11 from DFW to Memphis. So, if you like this video towards the end, make sure you comment, leave a like, subscribe. Let me know about some things that I can work on better. Yeah, we're gonna try to get this flight started. So, yeah, right now. All right. So I got it paused. So now we're just kind of going to load up things. I kind of already did my in everything. So I'm just waiting to everything loaded up. I've already calculated most of my stuff. So now I just get started aircraft, getting the central system started. I'm getting the FMC program. I'm just pretty much waiting on this. All right, so as I stated, yeah, we are going to be doing this in VR, but right now I have it in non-VR mode, and simply because I kind of hate putting like all the information to the FMC right here in VR. Sometimes it's just a headache. I can't get everything functioning like I want to. So yeah, we're just gonna do it in normal screen. Then once we get ready to do our engine starts and everything, then we'll throw the VR on. So um, all right, sorry. So I just have to make sure that everything was kind of functioning right. 'Cause I'm kind of getting a little newer to this streaming stuff, so I'm trying to make sure y'all can kind of hear the stream pretty well. So it looks like my voice is kind of clear, or pretty much pitch clear. So we're just gonna go ahead and kind of get started. So before we actually get started, I want to go and change some settings because I really can't hear. I have to have my VR on here. I'm going to briefly change the audio settings to my TV monitor as of right now. And let's see. Yeah, so you all should be able to hear everything as announced. I can hear everything just like y'all can. I would if my VR was on, but I don't feel like having it on right now until it's time to put it on. So right now it's just gonna be a TV monitor, and that's where you're gonna hear the sound off of. All right, so everything should be working. All right, so let's go and get started. All right, I never map controls in this thing for like camera views, but looking for the battery. All right, right here, battery power on, and we do have ground power, so let's go. Autopilot. Like I said, please bear with me. I'm still trying. This is like a trial error, really, that I'm kind of going through. Really never filmed this. I mean, I made one video like yesterday, but I'm actually talking my video now, so it's a little different. I got a little setup going on. So I got battery power on. I believe I just turned on ground power, and let's turn on our IRS. And these are the navigation, basically. This will be my screens pretty much, or our position. It's gonna get everything pretty much ready. What else? Let's on emergency power. And yeah, so we kind of wait for everything kind of spool. Alright, so our FMCs came alive. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the flight plan in. And unfortunately in the MD-11, everything's kind of already preset. I don't think there's anything where you can kind of do it like a brief super cold start. So, you know, a lot of stuff is already preset. But if it wasn't, I would still know what, you know, how the process goes. And every plane's pretty much the same. It's just different places, really. Sorry. This is we call it FMC. It's where all the flight data go. So I'm going to use charts based off of the navy graph. I'm going to show you this too as well. Alright, so we use charts, and this is pretty much where we are. We're in Texas, and we're going to be going somewhere over in this area to Memphis. So we go to import because I write down my pre-file. Go to assembly and DFW to Memphis. Again, this is not going to be on here if this is your first time. You have to pre-file these flight plans. And honestly, I can actually go ahead and show you how I do that. So, give me 1 second. I'll pull up Navigraph real quick. Actually, no, it's not. It's Navigraph, but it's really not Navigraph. It's more of Simber. Simber just through Navigraph. So, but there's like no app for it. So, Sorry, I'll be right back. Give me about 5 minutes. I'm sorry. Alright, y'all, I'm sorry about that. Had to take that a little bit because my dog got acting up. But, yeah, back to this. So, let's see. I have to get pulled up, so let me see if I can add it real quick so I can show you guys what it looks like in my view. Alright. Looks like y'all can see it. Make sure. Yeah. Alright, so this is Navigraph. Here, let me see something else. Alright, Have to zoom in a little bit. All right, so this is Navigraph, and this is my route, pretty much. We're going from DFW, we're going south of DFW, and then we're going towards the east. You'll see that's top of climb, and all these right here are waypoints. So what is that? Mining. Yeah, they have like some weird like name waypoints. I can't even name that. Not gonna try. Paxton. But yeah, that's not a waypoint right here. This is just showing this is my top of climb. So around this area is when we're gonna get to our designated altitude, and all these are waypoints. I'm just looking for a top descent, but it might not be on here. It might just depend. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Yeah. So here's top of descent. TOD. So TOC and TOD means top of climb and top of descent. So this is where, in this area, where we would start descending for our approach to Memphis. And with it being McDonnell-Douglas MD-11, that thing actually it loses altitude fairly fast. I don't know what is up with the aircraft, but it can do a lot of things like fairly quick. So I don't know, but if you were ever to make a new flight, you would go hit new flight. You would put your airline ICL to, like, if you were on United, you would put UAO for United Airlines. Then you put your flight number, your departure route, which is DFW, your arrival, KLIT fighter sometimes, which is Little Rock. Alternative, it's usually going to automatically do that for you. You put your aircraft here. They got a lot of them. There are some on here that they don't have that I wish they had, which makes it hard. Like, they don't have the PC-24 on here. They have the PC-12. And then airframes, you don't really have to worry about this. This is I think like some customization type of stuff. Usually morally going into Microsoft. X-plane stuff usually won't be in here. Climb profile, cruise profile. I usually keep all this stuff out of. That way it kind of will it will basically help, like, it'll do it automatically. It kind of saves you a lot of time. And ATC call sign, that's usually going to be your airline and flight number together. That's pretty much what that is. I usually do my stuff in pounds. I'm not in Europe, so I don't use kilograms. I use pounds. We're not in the United States. That's what we use. I use IFR, of course. I don't really do VFR much. Departure runway. You can say auto, and the reason, if you're just flying with no ATC, then you can put your own route on here. Like, you can put your own departure and arrival runway. But if you're going to be flying with ATC, predominantly an X-plane, Microsoft Flight Sim, it's not realistic to me. X-plane is not fully realistic either, but it's way better than Microsoft Flight Sim. But yeah, if you're flying with ATC, I would not put designated runway, because they're going to assign that for you. Unless you do add, I'm pretty sure in real life you can request to take off from a specific runway, but a lot of times they kind of have it picked out for you, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll let it do all this for me. For instance, here I can say Southwest. This is like a pre-route that I had. If we say going, I'm gonna keep this short because I know y'all already see the flight, but 737 MAX 8. They don't have the X-plane yet. Let's see. This is Microsoft Flight Sim. I'm putting in that. I don't know about calls. Well, call signs and whatever. I'm like, this is gonna do it automatically, basically. Fire pound, and right here, this is basically telling me my airway right here from takeoff. Little Rock, for some reason, I'm have their, they have ILS and all that stuff, but it doesn't have an actual airway, so you really have to use vectors when you're around Little Rock. But these are like real world, like, plans or whatever people take. I don't understand why they want to go this far out. maybe for specific reasons, maybe weather or something. There are some generated from SimBrief right here. But yeah, you can just pick any one of these, and usually it's always usually the first one. You pick that one, and so right here is showing that I'll be taking off to the north. Now that's only depending on what runway you pick. I believe 36 is like on the south side of the airport. So if you was to pick like 17 right, it's gonna change that. Yeah, they're supposed to change it. But yeah, so that's pretty much how you do this. Also, you can see an analyze route, and it'll do it for you. Now it just shows you instead of me going off, taking off and going this way north, I'll be going south again. So it all depends on what runway. The reason I'm not going to pick that is because I'm going to be using ATC off of X-Plane. And yes, I do know about VATSIM. I have an account with VATSIM. I've done the courses. I'm just not confident to actually fly VATSIM yet, because I've heard there are a lot of like ATC. There are actually people that do it in real life, and I heard it can be pretty challenging. So yeah, there's that. So that's the only reason why. But I might load up in the session one day to where I can potentially show them that I'm not there. Like, I'm not there, so they won't see me, but I can just kind of listen in and just kind of learn some things. I'm still learning, so I'm still trying to learn how to get through taxiways, which I'm fairly getting better with it. I just gotta learn how to kind of listen, kind of remember a lot of things, because real life, they may write some of this stuff down so they can remember it, because a lot of this can be a lot to take. But yeah, this is how you do that. So I'm gonna go back to my previous flight plan. So I'm gonna replan, and here's my actual flight plan from DFW to Memphis. I don't know which runway they're gonna have me landing on. Also, when I'm doing, so I'm gonna show you two things. So also, you may see me put in takeoff performance. You may not see me do it on here on the screen, but I have an iPad. I'm looking at the exact same thing, and that's what pilots look like. They kind of have their iPad. They're not using SimBrief or Navigraph, but instead for flight, which is for real life. But on here, I can go to takeoff performance, and I can sometimes I hit populate weather. Usually, you do that if it's been idling for so long and the weather has changed. You hit populate, and it'll like refresh it. So after you hit calculate, and again, when they tell me what runway I'm gonna take off from, I usually change all this in here, and then I recalculate it, and it tells me everything. So if you like outside air temperature, it's 34 right here. That's what I'll put. Headwind is -4. It just tells you like all these different things. Runway 17 right. There's no positive slope. I'm guessing that's what it's saying right here. Flaps auto. Obviously, we put flaps 15. That's how much flaps we want when we're taking off. Our thrust temps flex will be 60. And usually all this goes off of information that you have filled out, like off of here. It's under a dry condition, which means it's probably not raining. It's actually pretty dry. So this is like everything. This is our pressure, outside pressure, QNH, 30.04. Takeoff weight. So it shows like everything. You need to execute all this. So that's that, and then this is the landing performance right here. You can do the same thing, calculate. It shows you pretty much shows like everything. What flaps to use. I'm trying to find that. Not used to, like I said, I'm not used to using it on here. Yeah, so like flaps, brakes, max, manual. So we will not be using auto brakes. Reverse thrusters, no. honestly, I just don't feel comfortable not using first thrust. It just helps better. Oh, something else I wanted to show you. If you go back to takeoff performance, I'm almost done. So, this is your V ratings right here. When you're taking off, V1, meaning you're up to speed. VR, which is the rotate. That's the speed you will basically take off from right here. And then you have V2. So you will put all these into FMC. So this is like everything that I'm looking at, and that's what I'm going to FMC. So I won't actually show you. Like, you can see it on here. You can go back and replay the video, but I'm going to be doing all this off my iPad instead of here. It's more quicker for me instead of just changing the screens. So I'm gonna hit close, and again, once you, so I'm gonna go back to, I'm gonna hit edit plan, so you can kind of see. So this is showing my route. So once you put everything, and I'm probably gonna go ahead and generate this. Did I put automatic? I can't put automatic route. Okay, so we'll just change this in my description. So most likely we're going to be taking off. Hopefully, so I'm just going to pick like 17 or something. We're going to regenerate this since it's been quite some time. So once you put your entire flight plan, like I said, it's going to do all this stuff pretty much before. Like everything that you see that says auto, it's going to do automatically, like cost index. You're going to hit generate flight plan. Once you hit this and it finishes, it automatically updates to SimBrief. Not SimBrief, sorry, charts. There's a difference. This is SimBrief, and this shows my plan. But if we switch to nav charts, which is this is even better, because our flight plan's out of the way. Now we can see ourselves on the screen. I'm currently at the FedEx ramp in the game, and to prove it, I can kind of show you. So here, I'll go back to the game. Sorry. Bam. We're in game, and I'm gonna go to the exterior view, and you can kind of get the memo of exactly what I'm at. So that's the furthest I can zoom out. And 1 second. Yeah, so that's the furthest I can zoom out. And then if we go back to, we're gonna get started, I promise. I just want to show you some of this, kind of walk you through, so you kind of understand and get the memo of how I've been doing some of this stuff. So we're gonna go back to nav charts for 3 seconds. So go back on nav charts. And this just showing my actual location. Now, it's not for some reason fully accurate. Like in some areas it's like very accurate, but in like a couple areas it's not, because some things haven't been updated and they probably changed things in real life. But yeah, I'm at the FedEx route at the northeast. And this just right here, like I said, I'm gonna hit unload so I can show you more time. You import. So first, you will go to flights right here, import from SimBrief. After you generate it, as soon as you generate it, automatically pops up. You can hit here. And then once you do that, remember I put the runway, everything comes here. So now, I'm not going to change the settings in SimBrief. This is NavGraph charts, not SimBrief. So I'm not going to change the runway in SimBrief, but in charts, if they give me a specific runway, I will change it here. I'm just not going to go through all the trouble with, and I'm pretty sure they'll give me a good runway since I have a huge plane. It's going to probably be pretty heavy. So we're taking off from runway 17, which is right here, 17, right? That's what I have so far. So you can see the line right here. That's taking off from it. We're taking off the departure airway of Fort 3. Our transition is Fort. Also to mention, if your transition is the same as your departure, I'm trying to see how to put this, because your transitions can be different a lot of times. Alright, so I'm going to put it like this because I can't fully explain it. there could be multiple transitions. So if you basically have a different transition, let's say you got to put in fork 3 and you got to figure out what kind of transition you need for the path. If it just says fork 3 with no specific transition, you just keep it at fork 3 because that transition is automatically going to be fork 3. It's going to be lined up. That's the original default transition unless otherwise. So you're at fork 3 and we're taking off, and then we're going to turn left at TREXX or TREX, and then we're just going to follow this flight plan. Now obviously the plane won't get here and then start turning. It's probably going to start turning somewhere like right here. It's going to make a smooth turn because the plane just can't come here and turn. You know, even a Cessna probably can't do that. But yeah, it's going to go through this entire path. And like you see over here, Hobart 4, that is our airway for our rifle, which is this. Your rifle airway is always going to be green. So from Hobart 4, now transition is EOD. So it starts here and we go all the way down. You can see Hobart right here. Roll cap. And for our approach, so this is Memphis. We don't really have a way of getting down there yet. We don't know if we're going to be doing RNAV, anything. So if they say, hey, we can do ILS 36C, we'll select this for ILS. ILS, because I have this. Also, whatever runway you have for your arrival on the Navigraph, it's going to put that at the top automatically. So let's say it'll let me land at ILS 360. I could put that for my final, just like so. And this will be my way of getting down towards the runway. It's basically a discontinuity from here to here. These are not linked to each other, which means you're pretty much having to fly the aircraft yourself to this waypoint. But a lot of times you won't be flying it yourself. You'll just be simply heading towards this waypoint, or maybe a little bit before, just kind of getting yourself lined up. And then you set approach on if you have the right frequency set up, and it just automatically locks on turn and it guides it down. So that's how it is. I'm going to remove that, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So, sorry it took so long. Alright, so back in here, glad we had ground power on, because if not, you probably would have messed up. So I'm going to insert, and also right here, before you do these, I'm going to show you one more thing. We're still on the charts, so I'm going to go back to the Navigraph. I'll show you one more thing. I promised. I'm just about done with this. I just need to show you this. So if you're going to be flying a specific route through ATC, you want to give them your route. So I use the route that they give me right here. This is my route. You're going to hit copy. It's really for VATSIM, but you can leave it for X-Plane as well. But yeah, you hit copy, and then you go down back to the game. Go to the ATC menu. Go here. Flight plan. This is my aircraft identification number. Make sure you put all this stuff right, please. Because if you're flying a cargo plane and you put something like United Airlines, like a charter flight or something, it's gonna take you to a terminal gate for like passengers. So you need to make sure you put Federal Express or United Parcel Services, which is UPS, or any cargo flight. If you have a cargo flight, put that. It's going to route you to a designated taxi area for cargo. If you put anything with airlines for passengers, it's going to route you to taxi gates or gateways. So yeah, we're FedEx, and our flight number is 260. Again, McDonnell Douglas. It's a long list of planes, so you can just contact me guess you can't read that. McDonnell Douglas. Okay, it's right there. MD-11. I'm finding the F variant, but I can't put that. So that's why you don't have the F variant. F variant just means cargo, pretty much. So that's why you'll put your airline. So again, my arrival is AM/PM, and yes, this is very important. My alternative route is KVMA, which I have actually no clue where that's at, but I'm sure it's close to Memphis somewhere. And our route altitude is 31,000. Again, when you put all this stuff in and you found flight plan right here, you're basically telling ATC what's your plan, what's your route. And do not forget this. Remember when we went back in, sorry, you guys see nothing that I did, but here I'll show you again briefly. Remember when so again, going through here, make sure you put McDonnell Douglas, gave me my identification number, put your aircraft model. Remember I was telling you about all of it. Make sure you put everything right. If you're a cargo plane, put what cargo service you're with. I'm with FedEx. It's going to route you to a cargo gate. If not, you're going to go to a taxi gate. I mean, not a taxi gate, a passenger gate, terminal. You're pretty much going to a terminal, so make sure you put the appropriate airline. So, DFW, KMEM, KBN, en route altitude, and remember when I was telling you about the routing when we copied the Navigraph, you're going to paste that in here. So you see 434 direct, this DCT means direct to EOD for Bark 4. For Bark 4 is our arrival airway. 43 is our SID airway. So remember SID is taking off for departure and start is arrival. So we put that, and then we put valve flight plan. Now ATC knows what we're doing, and we can just request for clearance. But before we do all this, we're going to go and put our data. So again, KDFW, and a lot of these are different. So you can't do this in like this kind of aircraft. Like mostly what MCDUs or FMCs, whatever they call it. MCDUs is usually Airbus. They're going to be put in like this. You got to put the departures / and then you have to put the arrival, and then you put it in there like that. Bam. Now with Boeing, they have FMCs. Mainly, they're done differently. You will put the departure in first, click it over here, and then the arrival, you click it over here. Different. Do not put none for alternate. Don't put none for this. I think this has something to do with if you have, if you made it a flight plan and you want to automatically put everything through here, you can save it and then enter that information right, and it'll like pull up everything. But we're gonna do everything manual. So again, alternate route is KDNA. Now remember when you put your alternate route on here, it goes here. Don't put it over here. Remember, this is for if you save the Navigraph file and then you enter that file in here, and it enters your entire flight plan without you having to go through your menu. Flight number. Again, our flight number is FedEx FDX 260. Goes there. Flight number is 310. Now, so again, for some of you who may not know, you will put, if you're going to be like in the 5 digits, you only put 3 numbers. So if you're 10,000 feet, flight level 100. If you're going to be 15,000 feet, flight level 150. But we're going to be 31,000, so we're going to do 310. We have that. And again, I'm going to go back to Simbri, not Charts. Charts has it as well, but it's more digging into it. Simbri's more easier, and my cost index is 49. I'm gonna hit 49, bam. You see here, it gives a message to align RS. So now we go to initialize IRS right there. you see it disappears. Now our RLS is starting to align. Now we go to position ref, which we don't really have to put that. It puts it automatically for some reason. But basically what that does is you put your, like most planes you can tell like what gauge you're at specifically, and the satellite can basically say it's your exact position of where you're at, and that's how you align yourself with the Earth or the GPS pretty much. Now we're going to go to alternate flight plan issue, and we're going to go as you don't worry about any of that stuff, so I don't really do too much for what I do. Like I said, I'm still trying to get into most of it. So now you're gonna go to flight plan. So it will be very confusing if this thing is like very confusing. So you have to really pay attention. We've never used like the second and always use this. So or the first two. So we're going from DFW. Since we have gave ATCR airway for taking off, we can actually go ahead and put that. But I would not put the runway yet because we don't know which runway they're going to have us taking off from. So, our airway is Fork 3, and again, you really have to make sure that these air racks are updated to the latest version, because if you do not update these through FMC Manager via SimBrief or Navigraph, you will start seeing airways that won't align with what you have on charts or Navigraph. So you need to update your plane's FMCs to get them aligned to up-to-date information. So again, we're on Fork 3, and I'm going to quit wasting time now, so I'm just going to kind of go through it. So Fork 3, our transition is fork, and remember I was telling you about there's no transition, so that means our transition is fork. It's going to automatically fork unless otherwise, but we don't have to actually select fork. So let's see, our airway is Fork 3, and then our transition is fork. So because there's no other transition, our transition is automatically fork. So we hit that, and then we just hit insert. I'm not going to select the runway like I said yet, because we don't know what we're taking off from yet. But we know we're going to be taking off from the south, so it has to be one of the 4 runways up the north side of the airport. Alright, so we have that, and I like to go to perf. And we're just going to go over here. We're going to make sure that everything is pretty much set to fly. I think we've done all that already. Once we get ground operations over here, everything's pretty much set. So now we just go to perf, and then we go to thrust limits. Alright, so our flex, it don't give me a lot of information for this, like the rates with some brief, so I gotta figure that, but it does give out flex temps. So our selected temps is 0, 60. We'll enter that there, and decline. Okay, I need to go to takeoff. Alright, so we already got our flex temps. Flaps 15. Just put 15 and they'll put automatically. Stabilizer trim needs to be at 5.9. So basically we need to trim to 5.9 in order to have a great takeoff. You always enter your V-speeds last, and the reason why is because when you get the change of critical information, like the wind and everything, if you enter your V-speeds first and then you put the wind and everything in second, it's going to delete your V-speeds because you're into like information that the V-speeds need. So V-speeds always go last. For slope / wind, I use charts and SimBrief for this. So I go to airport in here just to kind of show you. I know I'm grabbing them still, but I kind of want you to get it here. So you go to charts again, and what I do is I go to airports, with DFW, and we want to look at, technically we can't really look at this part yet, but you would go to runways, and whatever runway we're taking out from, hit information that's out here, gives our slope. So this gives our slope, and then the other source I go to SimBrief, and again all this probably shows me good, but I don't and then off of SimBrief you have takeoff performance. And on here I go, and then you see where it says headwind, it's -4. So you will put the slope / headwind. My headwind is -4. So I'm going to show you how to insert that in there. So, alright. And again, this is part of it. I'm not trying to take so long, but this is part of it. So there is a format that you have to put in for this. So for slope, you would do, so our slope was down, I believe, if I remember. Let's see. Yes, our slope, well, it just depends on the runway. So if your runway has a negative slope, you would hit DN. DN stands for down, and then you put another point, whatever it gives you. And once you get that, that's your slope on the runway, you would hit / for this, and you put the wind. You can't just put the wind, you have to put headwind. So the format for headwind will be HD for headwind. You put that, and then you put whatever number, let's say it says 09. You take that and you put that in. Obviously I'm not going to put that in there yet because we don't know where we're taking off from. And I'm probably going to enter that in the R6. Usually I get that information once we come start rolling off. So outside air temperature, remember I was telling you about that. Our outside temperature is 3 4. Bam. And for now we're done. So I'm going to switch over to VR, and we're going to hopefully have great resolution where you can see everything, and we're going to get this flight started. That's pretty much. So just give me 1 second. Alright, so we are back, and now we're in VR. Hopefully you can see this pretty well. Yeah, so it looks like you can see this pretty good. So we're going to get this flight started, and then hopefully you can see the kind of stuff that I'm seeing. Alright, let's see where we gotta start. So now we need to turn our APU on. Hopefully our generator is already kind of preset. And we're going to go And the one thing I like about these McDonnell Douglas planes, specifically the MD-11 or the DC-10, is the main entrance door. Instead of opening up outwards, it opened up vertically. I kind of like that. So as you can hear the APU is full, pretty good. Get this tablet out my way. I don't really need it. Got my own stuff. Alright, so we're gonna kind of we're going to do a solid radio check. So first we're going to take that out of auto because I can do it myself. I might turn it back on auto. I know how to do it, but it's better to have two pilots to do reliable stuff. Because if you're by yourself, you're in trouble. But yeah, 12825, I think it's right on there. So we can do, and you have to turn this up as well. You don't turn it up, you won't be able to hear them. And let's see.
Dallas Fort Worth International delivery. FedEx 260 heavy. Radio check.
Heavy. Reading you loud and clear.
See, if you don't click this up, it doesn't activate it, so you really can't hear the thing. I'm not able to understand it for a while. That's why I have to turn the volume down. So, APU is spooled up. We're going to go ahead and uncage that. It needs to be uncaged. We're good, it's already set. Let's go ahead and preset our altitude to 310. And our heading, we are not sure. We can't enter any of that stuff yet because we don't know where we're going. But I can go ask for
Dallas Fort Worth International delivery. FedEx 260 heavy. McDonnell Douglas MD-11. Request IFR clearance to Memphis International.
FedEx 260 heavy. Cleared to Memphis International. Routing as filed. Climb via Foxtrot Oscar Romeo Charlie Kilo 32. Flight level 310. Squawk 1206. Altimeter 3004.
Cleared IFR to Memphis International. Routing as filed. Climb via Foxtrot Oscar Romeo Charlie Kilo 32. Flight level 310. Squawk 1206. Altimeter 3004. FedEx 260 heavy.
FedEx 260 heavy. Rate back correct. Contact ground 121.65. When ready for taxi.
We're going to cancel that.
Dallas Fort Worth International delivery. FedEx 260 heavy. Cancel IFR.
FedEx 260 heavy. IFR cancel. Squawk 1200.
I'm just going to make sure because a lot of times I've had issues in the past where it would delete something out of my course and it would screw everything up. So we're going to pre-file it again. And
Dallas Fort Worth International delivery. FedEx 260 heavy. McDonnell Douglas MD-11. Request IFR clearance to Memphis International.
FedEx 260 heavy. Cleared to Memphis International. Routing as filed. Climb via Foxtrot Oscar Romeo Charlie Kilo 32. Flight level 310. Squawk 1206. Altimeter 3004.
Cleared IFR to Memphis International. Routing as filed. Climb via Foxtrot Oscar Romeo Charlie Kilo 32. Flight level 310. Squawk 1206. Altimeter 3004. FedEx 260 heavy.
FedEx 260 heavy. Rate back correct. Contact ground 121.65. When ready for taxi.
And contact ground 12165. So I'm gonna do that when ready. One thing I wanted to mention, I forgot just that fast. So you have a squawk right here. And it gives you a squawk code. That's just so that you can see it on radar. So you can put it into the, this one's ATC right here. But you have to enter 120, whatever number they gave me. They gave me 1206, I believe. Yeah, 1206. And then you want to put it at TAR. So I got that. I'm going to switch to ground once I'm ready. So I'm ready to taxi. So I guess we can go ahead and pre-file our fish bag. Give me 1 second. Wait, what runway? Hold on. Already getting that ground control. Then where the tower has to go that. So here, I'll just alright. No, a lot of this is gonna be very confusing. So very pre-planned. And I know you can't see much, but it's gonna have to work.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready. Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
So I'm going to stop talking right here. I'm just going to let you guys kind of see the process so everything kind of speed up. I've just been rapping for a while. And I'm going to open this door or this window so you can hear the engine as well. So, but yeah, hope y'all enjoy the video and just let me know what y'all think.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect. Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Dallas-Fort Worth International Ground. FedEx 260 Heavy. November Oscar Romeo Tango Hotel Echo Alpha Sierra Tango Cargo. Altimeter 3004. Request start up.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Information echo current. Startup approved.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines. Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by. Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Dallas-Fort Worth International Ground. FedEx 260 Heavy. Request taxi from November Oscar Romeo Tango Hotel Echo Alpha Sierra Tango Cargo 4 departure.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Information Echo current. Runway 36 right taxi via November. Yankee. Mike. Echo Lima. Runway 17 right. Lima 5. Lima. Bravo. Golf. Whiskey Quebec. Foxtrot. And Whiskey Romeo. Hold short of runway 31 right.
Information Echo. Runway 36 right taxi via November. Yankee. Mike. Echo
Alright,
Lima.
so you can
Runway
clearly see
17
that
right.
it's telling me
Lima
to,
5. Lima. Bravo. Golf. Whiskey Quebec. Foxtrot.
it's telling me
And Whiskey
runway
Romeo.
36,
Hold short
so
runway
we
31
start
right.
heading
FedEx 260 Heavy.
So I'm guessing we're going to be departing from the south and going towards the north. I don't know. Let's see if it what's going to do here. It's not. So I'm not gonna argue with that. So but how does that work? Let me see something. So I know I've got my flight plan. That's not good. Okay, this is BS, but we're just gonna do what it asks before we get there. So let's get into it. I'm gonna change settings.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Contact Dallas Fort Worth International Tower. 124.15.
Contact Dallas Fort Worth International Tower. 124.15. FedEx 260 Heavy.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Are you with me?
Dallas Fort Worth International Tower. FedEx 260 Heavy. On taxiway.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Dallas Fort Worth International Tower. Hold short up runway 31 right.
Hold short on runway 31 right. FedEx 260 Heavy.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Cross runway 31 right. Hold short up runway 35 center.
Cross runway 31 right. Hold short on runway 35 center. FedEx 260 Heavy.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Cross runway 35 center. Hold short of runway 35 left.
Cross runway 35 center. Hold short runway 35 left. FedEx 260 Heavy.
Full lap. Stabilizer.
Okay, apparently, so it's not that I'm confused. The game is just something wrong with it. I don't know. Like, it's like a bug or something, but I'm following instructions like they want, but it's like the
Stabilizer.
appropriate stuff.
Dallas-Fort Worth International Tower. FedEx 260 Heavy. Request departure via Foxtrot Oscar Romeo Charlie Kilo 3.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Clear to Memphis International. Routing as filed. Climb via Foxtrot Oscar Romeo Charlie Kilo 3 to flight level 310. Squawk 1206.
Cleared IFR to Memphis International. Routing as filed. Climb via Foxtrot Oscar Romeo Charlie Kilo 3 to flight level 310. Squawk
I don't know, I'll
1206.
try. So you
FedEx
guys probably
260
gonna see
Heavy.
me do some mistakes when I make mistakes.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Read back correct.
Some of this stuff.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Information Echo current. Runway 35 left. Taxi via Yankee. Mike. And Echo Romeo. Hold short of runway 35 left.
Information Echo. Runway 35 left. Taxi via Yankee. Mike. And Echo Romeo. Hold short of runway 35 left. FedEx 260 Heavy.
Alright, so obviously once he gives us some crazy instructions, so I'm going to reverse. I'm going to use reverse start to back up. And I'm going to go down this entire taxiway because it's asking me to go down Yankee Mike and Echo Romeo. So that's, looking at the charts, we pretty much passed that. Since I didn't change the plan, I don't know, this thing's been tripping, so I gotta go down that entire taxiway. We're gonna be taking off from this runway, apparently, which is stupid.
Stabilizer.
And also for those who wondering, I could use the taxi lines that shows like where to go, but I think that wouldn't be fun. I'm trying to learn how to actually taxi via certain areas, and with this crowd screwing everything up, it's just messy. Just screwing up. Yeah, I can understand the taxiways pretty well, but what I didn't understand is if I put in my flight plan and one of the airways was showing we're supposed to take off from the the south part of the map, why is it having me take off to the north? Maybe it's me, I don't know. So that's something I gotta change. And, but yeah, hopefully you enjoy this flight. We're gonna try to go and get taken off and get to Memphis. I was down the mic for a little bit. So, like I said, it's having me to go down through Yankee Mike and Echo Romeo. So that's way back here. Looking, and I'm not looking at these taxi lines like on the ground, like beside the runway and markings, because I can't really see them. I can't see too far. I can see stuff in the distance in VR, but I can't see like precise stuff until I get like real close to it. So going off of my charts, and we're approaching Echo Romeo right here. It should be
FedEx
a
260
second,
Heavy. Report ready.
not the first one.
Wilco. FedEx 260 Heavy.
It should be this one. But you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but it's right there. It says ER. I don't know what the other one says. I think the other one says EQ. And I'm still trying to learn abbreviations for it as well. So before we take off, I'm going to go ahead and say, if we take off, I want to, first we got to do a couple things because this whole process has been kind of fun. So since it wants to have us taking off, I'm going to get out of the taxi crap. Since it wants us taking off from runway 35 left, I don't know why. We're going to go ahead and change that. So we're going to change the runway because this guy is taking off from the south. So 35 left. Okay, so apparently I guess it was just me and I confused myself. I set the runway and forgot to take it off on Sembry for charts. So that may be the computer, but it's the same airway. It's just a different, it's just like a loop pretty much. So we're taking off from 35 left. I'm changing on Sembry, so now we go on, and before, we're gonna hit information for 35 left real quick, and our slope is 0.03 positive, so we're going to click up. And I'm just going to click 0. See, I think I can add 3, but I guess I'm really not going to do that. It's going to say 0.05. You're going to select heaven, I think that was 0.7 or something like that. Yeah. .46, but we're gonna do 150 because last time I did that, I almost didn't make it. So, or I took off too early, you know, it would be bad. So we're gonna do 150, 164, 164. Got our V speeds, and all we gotta do now. And dang, it's probably gonna change it again. But we'll do it. So like KDFW, we have our airway. We have to put our airway now, which is 35. Yeah. Sir, HV is probably gonna leave. But we're fine. So you can see all the altitudes and our speeds are off. So our current bearing going down this particular runway is going to be 356. So we're going to get rid of this. Somebody. Let's just go for a second. So bearing is going to be, we're heading 356. And you always want to put this on here when you're taking off because you never know what happens when we might have to switch to heading mode. And it'll be already set. So select that for right now because I can't see nothing down until we take off. We're going to go ahead and hit profile. When you hit profile, it's basically activating the altitude pretty much. And inside flaps. So promise after this I probably won't do too much talking. I might do a little talking in the air. Maybe do something that get towards the ground, but right now we're just focused on getting this long. So this video is probably going to be very long. I'm sorry. I'll probably cut the video a little short so it won't be as long. Before we take off, we want to turn off the APU. So I select APU bleed and APU is now going off. All landing lights are on. runway turn on lights are on. We don't need logo lights because it's not dark. Beacon and nav are on. Yes, they are on. I don't know why they made them so difficult and different like that, but I guess they want to be different from everybody. And that should be it.
Attention all aircraft. Dallas Fort Worth International Information. Foxtrot current. Altimeter 3004.
3004. We're good. Let's put this back over here. And let's just get this on. That's out the way. And I think we're ready. So, mic going off and just like.
Dallas Fort Worth International Tower. FedEx 260 Heavy. Ready for departure.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Runway 35 left. Wind 020 degrees 7 knots. Cleared for takeoff.
Runway 35 left. Cleared for takeoff. FedEx 260 Heavy.
Stabilizer. 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 Stabilizer.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Contact Dallas Fort Worth International Approach 118.1.
Contact Dallas Fort Worth International Approach 118.1. FedEx 260 Heavy. Dallas Fort Worth International Approach. FedEx 260 Heavy. On Foxtrot Oscar Romeo Charlie Kilo 3. Altitude 3,700. Climbing. Flight level 310.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Dallas Fort Worth International Approach. Altimeter 3003. Radar contact.
Altimeter 3003. FedEx 260 Heavy.
260 heavy. Contact Fort Worth Center. 120.275.
Contact Fort Worth Center. 120.275. FedEx 260 Heavy. Fort Worth Center. FedEx 260 Heavy. On Foxtrot Oscar Romeo Charlie Kilo 3. Altitude 10,500. Climbing. Flight level 310.
FedEx 260 heavy. Fort Worth Center. Altimeter 3003. Radar contact.
Altimeter 3003. FedEx 260 Heavy.
Alright, so now I'm going to be going back to how to be our most right now for the time.
Hotel Oscar Bravo Romeo Kilo 436 left Echo Lima Delta 4 ILS approach runway 36 left FedEx 260 heavy. Descent via Hotel Oscar Bravo Romeo Kilo 436 left Echo Lima Delta arrive to 10,000. Expect approach 4 ILS approach runway 36 left FedEx 260 heavy.
Altitude.
descend via Hotel Oscar Bravo Romeo Kilo 436 left Foxtrot Alpha Yankee Echo Echo arrival. Expect approach 4 ILS approach runway 36 left FedEx 260 heavy. Climb and maintain 16,000. FedEx 260 heavy.
Altitude. Altitude.
Fort Worth Center. FedEx 260 heavy. Request frequency change to Memphis Center on 118.625.
FedEx 260 heavy. Frequency change. Squawk 1206. Suggest Memphis Center 118.625.
Squawk 1206. Contact Memphis Center 118.625. FedEx 260 heavy.
FedEx 260 heavy. Radar contact. heavy. After passing row cab, descend via step to 3000. 4 ILS approach runway 36 left. Altimeter 3005.
After passing row cab, descend via step to 3000. 4 ILS approach runway 36 left. Altimeter 3005. FedEx 260 heavy. Memphis Center. FedEx 260 heavy. Request bearing Houston.
FedEx 260 heavy. Fly heading 0854 Houston.
Fly heading 0854 Houston. FedEx 260 heavy.
FedEx 260 heavy. Contact Memphis International approach 119.1.
Contact Memphis International approach 119.1. FedEx 260 heavy. Memphis International approach. FedEx 260 heavy. On Houston. Altitude 7000.
FedEx 260 heavy. Memphis International approach. Altimeter 3008. Radar contact.
Altimeter 3008. FedEx 260 heavy. 260 Heavy. Request bearing 2
FedEx 260 Heavy. Fly heading 0684.
Fly heading 0684 FedEx 260 Heavy.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Descend via 4 ILS. Approach runway 36 left.
Descend via 4 ILS. Approach runway 36 left. FedEx 260 Heavy.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Report established localizer. Runway 36 left.
Report established localizer. Runway 36 left. FedEx 260 Heavy. Memphis International approach. FedEx 260 Heavy. On localizer.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Cleared for ILS. Approach runway 36 left. Contact Memphis International Tower. 118.3.
Cleared for ILS approach runway 36 left. Contact Memphis International Tower 118.3. FedEx 260 Heavy.
Stabilizer motion.
Memphis International Tower. FedEx 260 Heavy. Austin 4 runway 36 left.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Memphis International Tower. Continue approach. Information Juliet current.
Continue approach. Information Juliet. FedEx 260 Heavy.
10 knots.
Runway 36 left, cleared to land. FedEx 260 heavy.
Autopilot.
FedEx 260 heavy. Turn right when able.
Turn right when able. FedEx 260 heavy. Memphis International Tower. FedEx 260 heavy. Radio check. Taxi Foxtrot Echo Delta Echo X-Ray 803 via Mike 6 Mike November Alpha and Sierra. Cross runway 18 center. Hold short runway 27. FedEx 260 heavy.
FedEx 260 heavy. Say again. FedEx 260 heavy. Taxi Foxtrot Echo Delta Echo X-Ray 803 via Mike Tango Juliet Lima Charlie Charlie 8 Bravo and Sierra. Cross runway 18 center. Hold short up runway 36 center.
Taxi Foxtrot Echo Delta Echo X-Ray 803 via Mike Tango Juliet Lima Charlie Charlie 8 Bravo and Sierra. Cross runway 18 center. Hold short runway 36 center. FedEx 260 heavy.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Taxi Foxtrot Echo Delta Echo X-ray 803 via Charlie 8. Bravo and Sierra. Cross runway 18 center. Hold short up runway 36 center.
Taxi Foxtrot Echo Delta Echo X-ray 803 via Charlie 8. Bravo and Sierra. Cross runway 18 center. Hold short runway 36 center. FedEx 260 Heavy.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Cross runway 36 center. Hold short up runway 27.
Cross runway 36 center. Hold short runway 27. FedEx 260 Heavy.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Cross runway 27.
Cross runway 27. FedEx 260 Heavy.
Flap.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Contact Memphis International Ground 121.0.
Contact Memphis International Ground 121.0. FedEx 260 Heavy. Memphis International Ground. FedEx 260 Heavy. Runway vacated.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Memphis International Ground. Taxi Foxtrot Echo Delta Echo X-ray 803 via Sierra.
Taxi Foxtrot Echo Delta Echo X-ray 803 via Sierra. FedEx 260 Heavy.
FedEx 260 Heavy. Return to designated taxi route Sierra. Taxi Foxtrot Echo Delta Echo X-ray 803 via Sierra. Foxtrot Echo Charlie Victor and Sierra.
Roger. Returning to route Sierra. Taxi Foxtrot Echo Delta Echo X-ray 803 via Sierra. Foxtrot Echo Charlie Victor and Sierra. FedEx 260 Heavy. Memphis International ground. FedEx 260 heavy. Shutdown.
FedEx 260 heavy. Shutdown approved.
Alright, y'all, so I know that was a long video. Sorry for the long video, and this time I'll try to make it shorter. You probably hear AC in the background, so I'm sorry about that as well. Try to make out any exterior like noises that you may be able to hear, but like this video, leave a comment, like, subscribe. I love your feedback if I could do better on something or increase something. So just like I said, like, subscribe, comment, and if you want to see more of these videos, hit that bell, notifications icon. And until next time.